Hey guys, this is Mike Hatch, Men's Ministry Director at Orchard Hill Church, and I wanted to share a book with you today that I just started reading. I just picked it up. Was really excited that it was coming out. A guy named Jason Wilson wrote it. Here's a picture of him. That's Jason Wilson. It's called Cry Like a Man, Fighting for Freedom from Emotional Incarceration. This is the real deal. Love this book so far. I'm about halfway through. I wanted to highlight something that I think is really profound that Jason talks about in this book. In chapter 5, the absence of affirmation. On page 64, Jason is talking about his struggle with keeping his virginity and then losing it. And then he says this in terms of what he teaches boys that he works with. And like Solomon, I encourage the young men and boys I now work with to think twice before recklessly deserting their virginity for fleeting sexual pleasure. And then he goes on to say this: if you are a virgin, keep your power. I think that's a great way of saying it. If you're a virgin, keep your power. If not, save your remaining power for your wife. I've often felt that with sexual struggle, whether it be pornography addiction and masturbation or sexual promiscuity, that as men, when we do that, we put ourselves on the throne and worship ourselves, and it actually steals our strength. It steals our power, because God made us as men not to be selfish, but instead to be self-sacrificing, where our strength can be lent to someone else, whether it be our family, our wife, those in need. John Eldredge talks about this as well in some of his books, that we want to offer our strength, is the verbiage he uses, for those who are vulnerable and most need us. When we selfishly make ourselves the center of our lives and make our lives about fulfilling our own selfish desires, that strength and that power is stolen from us. And I know I've talked about this with the guys here at our men's ministry at Orchard Hill too. You guys know I've talked to you about this, where when we look at pornography or we masturbate or things like this, you notice, I'm sure afterwards, unless you've been desensitized because you've done it for so long, but you notice almost immediately afterwards, you feel almost like a depression, like your strength is drained because you're so wrapped up in yourself. And you don't have that strength anymore to offer to those you love the most. In fact, in moments like that, often you'll find that for the rest of your day, in regard to your relationship with your wife or your family or your kids, you will feel very selfish. And not just selfish, but you will feel like you don't have anything to offer them. So the other Proverbs passage that came to my mind with regard to what Jason was talking about here is Proverbs 31, verses 2 through 3. And I love this. It says, and this is a mother speaking to her son, King Lemuel, okay? And she says, listen, my son, listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. So she's saying, look, you're everything to me. I love you. You're an answer to my prayer. You're the son of my womb. You mean, you are so significant to me, basically, is what she's saying. And she says this, ready? She says, don't spend your strength on women. And then she goes on, your vigor on those who ruin kings. Don't spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. So there's even a scriptural premise for this, just that, when you give yourself to someone else like that, it hurts you in terms of the power and the strength you're able then, as a result, to offer to others, whether it be your wife, your fiance, your whoever is in your life that counts on you in any way as a man. So if you have been struggling in some way like that, maybe you need to take a look at the things you're giving your strength to. What are the things that you're giving power over to? When it's all about you, you're selfishly just kind of fulfilling your own sinful desires, it is going to absolutely deplete you. I know this is, Jason's talking about specifically his experience with the black culture, but man, this can relate to others as well, for sure. That as men, it's interesting. We will, I think about in the early 90s when Dallas Cowboys played the New York Giants for the NFC Championship game, and I think it was an NFC Championship game. It was a playoff game. Anyway, Emmitt Smith was the running back, and he got hurt in one of the plays, and he dislocated his shoulder. And the commentators were like, well, is he gonna continue to play? Is he not? He went into the locker room because he was injured. Everything was at stake here in this game for the Cowboys. And he came back out and had his shoulder wrapped and continued to play with a dislocated shoulder. And it was absolutely epic because he tore it up. He had amazing runs, critical plays to help the Cowboys make it past the Giants and beat them in the playoff game. And so here you have this incredible example of a guy, Emmitt Smith, who sacrifices himself, his very body, for his teammates. And yet it's interesting because within the sexual arena or relational arena with women, it seems to be quite the opposite. That instead we glorify men who are ultra selfish and self-centered and just take and abuse and use women for their own selfish, sinful desires. It's amazing the pressure we get as men to be selfish. Yet at the same time, we will look at something like a football game, for example, or some other example where athletics is involved, and we will glorify men for sacrificing themselves. So what's it going to be? Are we called to sacrifice, or are we called by God to be selfish? We are called to sacrifice as men. I was just talking to my wife about this recently. We're seeing this play out in real time during The Bachelor right now, this season of The Bachelor that we're in, because The Bachelor at this point is a virgin, and you've got these women who are pursuing him and claiming that they're going to be the ones who take his virginity or his V card, however you want to call it. And it's interesting to see this because, and my wife mentioned this when we started talking about this subject. She said, it's funny because this idea of giving up your power, you see that power play out as these women are looking to take that, in a sense, from The Bachelor. It's as if subconsciously we all understand that there is some power inherent in virginity. Otherwise, why would people so want to attack it, tear it away? When a man gives up his virginity to another woman, he lends them his power. Or if other guys see someone who's got their virginity, it's like they need to knock him down to their level if they're not virgins and become all like the rest of us who are normal and humans and real men. So that's all for now. I kind of went a little bit on a tangent, but I'm passionate about this. And I definitely wanted to share this book and just encourage any guy out there who may be inclined to take a look at this. I highly recommend it. Jason Wilson's done a great job with this book, and I know I'm getting a lot out of it. Remember, if you are here at Orchard Hill, we've got men's game night this upcoming Friday evening. Feel free to stop by. Maybe you're not a member of Orchard Hill, but would like to stop by and hang out with us. It's going to be a blast. So until next time, have a great week. Guys, live empowered by the light. This is Mike Hatch, again, Men's Ministry Director here at Orchard Hill Church, signing off. Have a great week.